Hi, and welcome along to AFTV. It's time now to preview the game Cardiff versus Arsenal. Cardiff City, should I say, versus Arsenal, which takes place on Sunday, 1:30 kickoff UK time. This is a big game for Arsenal. The reason being is we've got off to a very indifferent start. As you know, we lost our first two games. Did get back on track last week with a big win over West Ham, winning by 3-1 in the end. But that didn't tell the full story. If you was at the game, we weren't very impressive in parts of that game. Our defending was poor. We were constantly getting caught on the counter-attack. And in the end, it seems weird to say we ground out a 3-1 win, but we did in a way because we were a bit fortunate due to some of the chances that West Ham missed. However, it's a win. And that's the most important thing at this stage of the season. You know, especially with a team that we've got, which was a work in progress, it's important to get a win. And, you know, Unai Emery will be really happy that he got those 3 points on the board. And going to Cardiff, you look on it and you'd say to yourself, standard win. This should be easy work. Cardiff promoted from the Championship last season, a team that are not known for scoring goals. Look at their record so far in the Premier League. They haven't scored any goals so far. Beaten 2-0 by Bournemouth, and the other games have been 0-0 draws. But also what it shows you is that they're a team that are capable of grinding out results, right? So put it this way, if Cardiff get another 0-0 on Sunday against Arsenal, Neil Warnock, their manager, will be more than happy. And this is going to be a big test for Unai Emery because he wouldn't have come up against a team and manager like Neil Warnock before. You know, there's not them type of managers in Ligue 1 where he was with PSG. There's not them type of managers and that type of style of football in La Liga when he was manager of Sevilla. This is going to be one of those gritty tests that he's going to face. You know, Neil Warnock would say to his players, go out there and be really physical with Arsenal. Put it up 'em, as that old phrase says, and really, you know, ruffle the feathers, get in their faces, and that is what the tactic will be, and then to be defending doggedly. So it's going to be hard to break down, and this is going to be one of those real stern away tests that Unai Emery will face a lot of times with some of these teams that are lower down in the Premiership pecking order. So for me in this game, Unai Emery, his best tactics for me, personally speaking, is to attack Cardiff. Because Cardiff, as I said, they don't score a lot of goals, but their record shows that, you know, a couple of clean sheets, they can defend, right? So go with attack. For me, Aubameyang and Lacazette have to start in this game. Both of them. Aubameyang on one wing. He's yet to get off the mark. He'll be hungry for goals. This will be a great opportunity for him. And also Lacazette down the middle. Now, my thing is that Cardiff are going to defend quite deep. That's why you can play both of them. No point in just playing Aubameyang up there on his own, trying to get balls in behind a defence that's going to be sitting very deep, you know, and not allowing Arsenal to get in behind. And also, Arsenal are going to have to play with some width. And that's why I go with Iwobi in this game. A guy that can pick up the ball and run up players, I think is going to be absolutely essential in this game. And I'd start with Iwobi on one wing and Aubameyang on the other wing. More or less, I keep the same team as last week, but I would bring in Lucas Torreira instead of Guendouzi. For me, he has to start. My conundrum is Ramsey or Mesut Ozil. Probably, of course, Ozil has been sick, right? I'll probably go with Ramsey to start off with. It all depends on how fit Ozil is. To me, if Ozil is fully fit, I'd be inclined to start with him. And the reason why I'd be inclined to start with him is that Cardiff are going to be a hard team to break down. We've got to break down that dogged defence. And, of course, Mesut Ozil, playing in that number 10 position, is the guy that can unlock defences on his day. And surely he's going to be hungry. After all the controversy that's been flying around. I mean, it's just controversy after controversy that has been following Mesut Ozil recently. There was a controversy in the summer with the World Cup, with the German national team. There's now the controversy around Arsenal. Did he have a training ground bust-up with Unai Emery? Was he sick? I'll tell you what, for me, if he did have a training ground bust-up with Unai Emery, I like that. I like the fact that Unai Emery's getting stuck into these players and saying, listen, this is how I want you to play. And I like the fact that, you know, if he's fallen out and he's come back in the fold, he might have a point to prove. So it's something that could work in our advantage if we've got a fired up Mesut Ozil that gets onto that pitch with something to prove. But certainly this is an absolute must-win game. We've got to win this game. We have to win this game. We don't want to be going into that international break with a draw, with another defeat. And don't forget, our away record has been dreadful. You know, can't blame it on Unai Emery because, you know, his only away game's been away against Chelsea, which we did really, really well in. On another day, we could have got a result in. However, we did lose that. But obviously, the previous manager, his record away from home, particularly this year, has been dreadful. We've still only won one game away from home this year. This is a great opportunity for Unai Emery to get this team rolling away from home. It's going to be vital. If we're going to get into that top four this season, we've got to turn around our form away from home. That is what kept us out of the Champions League places last season. The fact that we were terrible away from home. And it's nothing more than, you know, going away from home, putting in a great performance and getting those fans really pumped up and really behind you. One of the things I really enjoyed about that Chelsea game, which I hadn't seen in a long, long time with Arsenal, or with Arsenal fans, was the unity between the fans. There was nobody arguing about Wenger, nobody arguing about this player, that player. People were there singing Unai Emery's Red and White Army the whole end. They were really behind him. They were really enthusiastic, and I loved that. And if we can get a victory away from home, it will be something special. And do you know what? I go back to when I was in Dublin, when Arsenal had a pre-season friendlies over there, and I was in Dublin, and the Irish Gooners put together this event where they had Sol Campbell speaking. And Sol Campbell said something on that day, which I thought, spot on. And he said, listen, where is going to be the big test for Unai Emery is not, you know, your Chelsea's and your Man United's and stuff like that at home. The big test for him that he said, first of all, he really wants to see Unai Emery turn around is when we go to these sort of places. Cardiff away, Huddersfield away, you know, Wolves, all these teams that are going to be fighting hard, you know. Some of those teams that will use unconventional methods and that. How is Unai Emery's teams going to be able to cope with that? Are we going to be strong enough? You know, because we used to, and for a long time, we've had that tag of being that little soft touch away from home where teams will say, yeah, we're just going to rough them up. We know that Arsenal hate that, you know, it gets stuck into them. Under Arsene Wenger, we had that reputation, and that reputation was there for years, and a lot of teams use that very effectively against us. Can Unai Emery end that and show that when we go away from home, we can go toe-to-toe with any team and give teams a spanking, especially these little teams? This is going to be a big, big test for Unai Emery. But if he passes it, you know, we'll be heading in the right direction. My prediction for the game, now I've been working with these guys, Secret Sauce, right? These guys, Secret Sauce, what they do is they predict lots of Premier League games, not just Premier League, games across Europe. And last year, they had an 86% record of wins for the whole season. What they do is they predict the results of matches. I'm going to predict a couple, actually, but I'm going to start off, obviously, with our game. Let's see what they've had to say about this one. Cardiff versus Arsenal. They're saying that, you know, Cardiff's record, as I've been explaining, has been poor. They're not scoring enough goals. And they're predicting that Arsenal are going to win this one, especially the fact that they come back off of that 3-1 win. So they're going for an Arsenal win. They're saying the only way they can really see Cardiff maybe getting a goal will be through a set piece. That's their best hope. But they're going for Arsenal beating Cardiff in this one. And certainly I agree with that. I fancy Arsenal could win this about 3-0. I really do. We've got the attacking prowess. If we go with Lacazette and Aubameyang up front, I can see quite a few goals in this one. 3-0 to Arsenal. They've also predicted in the Leicester-Liverpool game, they've gone for an away win. They've gone for Liverpool winning that game. In the Chelsea-Bournemouth game, and I say I'd have to agree with that, Liverpool on fire at the moment. Chelsea versus Bournemouth. They think it's going to be quite a close game because Bournemouth have been doing really well. Bournemouth will put a lot of players behind the ball, they're saying, in this game. However, they've conceded 3 goals in their last 2 games, so they're going for a Chelsea win. Chelsea, of course, have got off to a decent start, beating us very luckily, I thought, in that game when we played them at Stamford Bridge. Man City, Newcastle, you won't be surprised to know that they've gone for a Man City win. Newcastle have got off to a dreadful start. And those tactics I saw last week of them putting absolutely everybody, I mean, they parked about 10 buses. That is what they're going to try and employ against Man City. It ain't going to work. You can only go for a Man City win there. And Watford, Spurs, unfortunately, they're going for a Spurs win. Even though Spurs haven't got a great record against Watford at home, and even though Watford have had an unbeaten start, both teams have had an unbeaten start, they're going for a Spurs win. You know what? I'm going to go against Secret Sauce in this one. I'm going to go for a draw. I don't know. I think Watford, I watched them last week. Palace started off well, but Watford looked pretty decent at home. And I know my boy Troy Deeney's going to do us a favour, so I'm going for a draw in that game. But the most important one, of course, is our game. I'm going for a 3-0 win. Aubameyang and Lacazette has to start, Unai, please. And let's go out there and terrorise Cardiff and hopefully get the 3 points. Let us know what your predictions are. Do you agree with the guys from Secret Sauce? Also, leave your comments below. What's your team? What do you think the team should be? I'd love to hear from you guys, but looking forward to the game. Cardiff City versus Arsenal. We head to Wales tomorrow. We'll be there at the game. Come and check us for an interview. We'll be talking to fans before the game and after the game. Really, really looking forward to it. Come on, you Gunners. We need these 3 points.